We did do an acrylic pre-glaze on him, right? Well, that's all okay because if you remember, when we had that unexpected raid before we could raid somebody, this is what we had done in acrylic, and then we finished off the rest in oils. Do we have Rumble in the house? We do have Rumble. Yep, Calvadia. Well, I'm actually quite happy because, well, of course we just moved the camera backwards, but or too close to see it maybe. But we now have Melvin the Fellbeast on his new home. Look at that. It's like his own little aviary there. So, Gondor time. Oh, what the heck? Let's play, not the acrylic stuff. Let's play with, let's use this. So, it is the Fast Matte Titanium White. Let's use it. I hope all is well there, Rumble. It's interesting. This is I did not make this container. This was donated quite generously by one of our frequent listeners here. So we'll get some of that out here. We for sure want our... Oh, let's sneak a little Prussian blue out there, shall we? Oh, thanks, Kelvadia. Now, the painting process on Melvin and the Witch King, you can go back and watch that. Yeah, I think it's still actually a VOD right now. It will soon be a highlight if it's not already a highlight. Ooh, there's my indigo. There's me indigo. I don't need a whole bunch of stuff here. I don't need lots of stuff. I will like some Van Dyke Brown. Oh, there. Now let's get some of this too. I think I'll grab a little Terra Rosa as well. We are not going to need very much, really, of many things here. Van Dyke Brown. Because I do believe Gondor shields are black with the star. So we'll take our Van Dyke Brown and our blue, well, indigo. Mix those puppies together. So what I want to have is a little touch of sky blue here. We are going to grab some of our berry white green. If you remember on Wolfman here, remember what we did with these metals right here? So, well, obviously, as we welcome in Don Mac, how are you doing? Let's get our berry white green. Its usual place down here. Okay, there we go. Jeez, I don't even know if we'll need quite that much. And what the heck? We are going to throw some of our blue-gray, aka faded ultramarine. Let's throw some of this out here. Now I'm just going to do a quickie little search over here. We'll just look up some Gondor armor and see what pops up here for images. Oh, actually, this is nifty. Wow, there's some guys actually literally wearing Gondor armor. They're walking around in this. Custom made. Hey, look at this. So if you too want to look like Oscar, you only have to spend $1,698, and they're in stock. They're fully in stock, folks. So we've got ourselves... Yeah, look at that. Okay. Let's grab ourselves some brushes here, shall we? Where's the one I was just using? Let's get ourselves a hint of indigo in some places. Pascal, thank you so much. We'll give you a little bit of a toast. There we go. So, folks, you definitely want to give Pascal a follow because he is doing some amazing things with large-scale figures and busts, like incredible things. Yeah, I mean, this base right here is kind of tiny compared to some of the things that he is working on. So you want to check him out because it's just, you will never cease to be amazed at the wonders he produces. But thanks again. That is appreciated. Now, what we're going to do here is this is going to be an even lighter version of our pre-glaze right here. So, okay, so I'm going to go, there's dark blue here as well. So, fortunately, we got ourselves a little touch of Prussian blue. And I mean minimal amounts. Oh, Prussian blue there. We're not even, I might add just a pinch of course, it's over here behind. Melvin, he's hiding. Melvin is being cheeky, and he was hiding my thinner. How are you doing that, Melvin? We needed some of that thinner. If you're going to play with Oscar, we have to have some paint on him. If you're going to play with him, I think basically Melvin the Fell Beast likes to hug things with his teeth, so I think that's probably what's going to happen to Oscar here. Especially if he tries to poke Melvin with this teeny little stick. I wish I had time to throw up the graphics for it, because on the Patreon video I actually had some pictures. As always, I try to have some work in progress pictures so you get to kind of see what each stage looks like. I do have a sponge. Even at this stage, I can still take a little bit away here. Can still take some of this away. Not too much, just a smidge. And then we're going to look for... Aha, here you are, Mr. Filbert brush. And let's attack this with a wee touch of our... This is our fast matte white. And look at how we're scumbling that away. And look at how little paint is on the brush. And let's do this here. Now, the one true brush, for the folks that aren't really super familiar with what the heck that means, the one true brush was discovered probably a good 10, 12 years ago, something like that. The one true brush takes many forms. Now, the handles are gray, but typically it's a number 8 round. It also, it's been green handles here. It's been many different colors. It's even been blue. Yeah, it's been blue here. Yeah. But you can see it gets, it gets some rough treatment. When it gets really rough, oh, look at this. You could cut it into a stippling brush, right? And that is why it is the name of the one true brush. It is worshipped because, well, and we'll show you just how much it costs you to get the one true brush. It's not very much. They are from Hobby Lobby, and there's a dozen of them. And you'll look at the price. That's not a bad price for 12 of those. They're actually more rugged than brushes that are $5-6. I've literally tried. Okay, here's an example. I've tried getting some Winsor Newton Cotman brushes. They don't match this. This is better than these. This was $6-7. The brush that cost 20-something cents is better. Go figure. Oh, Pascal, are you going to be streaming in a little bit then? Say, oh gosh, what, 2-3 hours from now? I meant to ask earlier, but I sort of forgot. So see what's happened. See how it's already, look at how it's mixing. Now, Melvin's got to go somewhere else here. So we're going to move him out of the way. We have a space for him, I think. Fly this way, Melvin. Or fly, you fools. I don't know, one or the other. But because we put just a hint of that pre-glaze on there, you can see it's still mixing with that dark indigo. Look what's happening here. You can see it's kind of turns a little bit grayish there. Now this is just to get our initial lights on here. Then we're going to put reflected light. We're going to get some nice sky effects on there. Some of those nice vertical striations that you typically see on metal armor. It's certainly what I see on my references over there. There. Now, while this that we've done on his helmet and everything, while this stuff has a little chance to set for just a few minutes, I'm going to do a little bit of a glazy thing here on his shield. Not with water. Let's grab our thinner. Now, you saw Melvin and his tower. Well, Melvin was done in oils, but the tower was done in acrylic. Oh, look at this. Look what's happening there. Look at that little pin line wash there with the oils. Check that out. So we're getting more than just a flat black shape here. Look at how that just look at that, it just falls right onto right where I want it to go. Look at that. This is the wonders of the oils because they are thinner than water, which means that you can paint details that are smaller with the oils than you typically can, say, with the acrylics. Now I'm just gonna blue tack this down, make sure it doesn't go anywhere. Don't mind me while I do this. We just need, I can tell we need a little extra support here on this cork. Just make sure that's not going anywhere. Of course, it wants to stick to me and not to the cork. I'm going to do some more glazing over here. Now I'm going to actually take some of my Prussian blue and we're going to glaze some very intense Prussian blue down into some of these crevices here. And it's a different type of approach. Remember, it's just you touch it, you let the paint flow. You touch that. Same is going to happen here. So we're just touching it to that line and then it flows. That natural capillary action. Let's get some more darks into here. We'll have to get some, we gotta get some Terra Rosa out there for his face. Now you're starting to see that vertical line starting to move down his arm here. Same over here. Think of this almost like a horizon line. Not quite a Sky Earth-ish. We're gonna have to reflect this spear onto his helmet too. We're also going to sneak in a bit of a horizon line there. And some over here. We've got, now this is a little bit more of a kind of a brownish black here. We'll just, I think that's supposed to be here. Apparently he's got some really long hair. Grab me some Terra Rosa now before I forget. Terra Rosa. That's not Terra Rosa. That's Terra Rosa. That was burnt sienna trying to masquerade as Terra Rosa. And I was not fooled by that. I guess I'm going to have to refill this. Well, that's almost empty. Terra Rosa, Van Dyke Brown. A little bit of thinner. Now we're going to take some of our ivory black, which will change that color a smidge. We have some straps to do here. Do they have... doesn't really... I don't see them wearing gloves, but I'm just going to say he's wearing a glove. So we'll get more of our black mixed into that. Back of the shield. Again, Terra Rosa here. Van Dyke Brown to change what's happening temperature-wise with our browns there. Scabbard, reflections, belt, straps. I don't really know if they ever really show... I'm looking at my reference pictures on screen. I apologize for not having a reference picture on screen for you. I meant to do that. But I also wanted to have pictures of the Fell Beast for you. Well, that's interesting. So the one reference I just looked, his shield is more of a Numenorian shield, but his armor is clearly Third Age Gondorian. So that's interesting. Okay, let's go a little touch more Prussian blue here. We'll let you set there. Now it is time to start playing around with some of our whites. And we're actually going to use a little bit of our off-white yellow even in just a couple of places. Renru has to head off to sleep. Thanks again for the raid, Renru. And folks, if you're not already following Renru, or just make sure that, again, Twitch hasn't done something sneaky and unfollowed you. But thanks again for the raid, and I hope that you have as much fun with the Sculpey stuff and with the green stuff world, those liquid pigments. Because at first I just didn't know what to expect. I was all ready for those to just not really be something useful, and be doggone if they were not spectacular. So once again, we are thinking about basically, and I'm just going to go this way with it here. So creating these multiple, look at, we're going to do the same over here. Same thing going to happen here. So it's not just all a highlight edge there. There's much more going on with armor things like this. Because it's reflecting all these other things. At least it should be reflecting all these other things. We're going to get some green into this armor too. There's a lot of stuff going to happen with this. We're just getting this party started right here. And by not really using a whole lot of oil paint here, it's going to take even less time for this to dry. Here, let's sneak in some of that barite green, shall we? We haven't really done that yet. I saw you did a glow in the dark with oils. Oh, Calvadio, we use those fluorescent paints all the time. Sometimes not even just for glow. Sometimes we use that just to get the paint that much more intense. So Calvadia, we're calling it Sporktober because we're doing spooky things. Obviously, like this. And also, obviously, Melvin the Fell Beast, we're doing stuff like that. But we've also been painting orcs like her. And our creature caster orc right here. We're going to be painting some more Lord of the Rings orcs. Check out the, oh gosh, was it Monday's session? Check out Monday's session where we painted some ghosts. So that's kind of, that's part of our spooky right there. That puts the spook into Sporktober. And I think we also painted, oh yeah, we painted this hag. Not haggis, we painted this hag. We also painted one of these little wolf guys here, wherever he went off to. So we painted one of him, and we painted her up here. So we're doing as many different things as we can. Liking that green in here. Now, remember, what's he standing on? He's standing on that white marble there, sort of, ish. We need reflected light over here. Let's do that. Yeah, that's more like it. Reflected light there. That's why we're using our off-white yellow here. Any brush can be a blending brush. Let's do some blending here. With oils, just like with everything else, less is more. More is way too much. So there's some of our reflected light. It's starting to already look kind of, it's looking very cheeky there. Kind of looking like some metal. Almost like maybe we used our metallic oils, but we have not used that. We are going to get Ooh, a little bit more of that Prussian blue. A smidge more of that Prussian blue to mix in there. Yeah, ooh, look at this. Look at all the fun stuff that's going on there. Doesn't take long, does it? Now that's going to be reflecting his little pointy thing, so not going to do too much more as far as blue with that in that area. We are going to get ourselves a couple of more of these little striations. See how we're changing the color constantly, just never-ending change in that color. Look at, there's some of our barite green going into here. Phthalo, phthalo blue. No, our brand new, fantabulous Prussian blue. Love that so much. Oh, hey, Electron, how you doing? Well, let me see. We haven't determined yet if Oscar really has a good chance up against Melvin. My money is on Melvin, I think, because if Melvin just flies over Oscar, let's put it this way, some lump of coal is going to fall on top of him. I mean, you know, have you ever walked behind a horse or something like that? I mean, there's many hazards while fighting something like a fell beast there. And it could be something as simple as having a lump of coal dropped onto your helmet. And I'm pretty sure a fell beast lump of coal is going to be quite large. We're going to go back to our barite green again. See these nice nifty little lines that we make here? And we got a long ways to go as far as how light we can make this too. Yep, sporks and haggis. Sporks and haggis. I think we start out with October. Then people said, well, there's a lot of spooky things. I said, well, okay, do we change it to Spooktober? And then it was suggested, no, just make it Sporktober. And thus, Sporktober was born. I'm going to sneak in some of my sky blue color right there. See what's happening? Look at that. And these Gondor figures, good grief. If this kit is not 17 or 18 years old, it's got to be close. Well, this mini, I mean, literally this figure could be 17, 18 years old. Maybe older. It might even be old. Oh, no wonder that didn't. Okay, the water, we got to move our water out of the way here because I've already stuck my brush into that twice. So it's in basically the same place where my thinner usually is. So let's get his little dress here. Let's get some lighter stuff going on that too. Here's a little bit of that blue-gray. Using our poor man's Series 7 at the moment. I'm gonna sneak some more blue into this. And remember, our reflected light is gonna have to be on the grayish side, warmer and grayer. Everything up towards the sky, well, more bluish. Not necessarily totally sky blue, but just a little more blue. Now this is that fast drying white. I've no idea exactly what to expect from it. The bottles were generously donated here, so we are just trying them out for the first time, seeing what they do. You will not have any idea what something can do until you actually give it a try. I'm just looking to see how did they end the armor on this side. Let's sneak ourselves a bit of the lighter off-white into there. Let's do something on his spear over here. Same on the other side. Well, look at this. It must be the end of a thirsty Thursday, because look who's here. It is Drew. It is Thunderdome Drew. So folks, if you are not already following Drew, you need to do so, but you probably are because, well, Drew is really cool, and this is Thirsty Thursday. Well, now it's more like Friday, Fantasy Friday, I guess. So be sure to give him that follow. And just check, make sure Twitch wasn't sneaky. So Drew, I hope all is well, and I hope you had a really good stream. And folks, be sure to check out War Grips. Getting a grip on your miniature since, about 2 or 3 months ago, right? That's when you started making this. Hey, look at this. We got Suicide Printy. Oh, I saw your Instagram post there. Oh, and Bookend Kitties. Look at this. So, folks, you're seeing one small part of a much larger project here. So we're just painting Oscar, the Gondor dude, and you're wondering, okay, what's he doing here? What is he fighting? He's actually fighting Melvin and the Witch King. So let's back out here a little bit, make this thing bigger, and let's have Melvin just kind of fly in here. So here is the base that we were painting earlier. So here's Melvin and the Witch King. Now this was painted in oils on a previous stream just within the last couple of weeks. We just painted this is our broken Gondorian base. Now I think you can see. Now, hey Trash, how are you doing? Thanks so much. Here, let's get some of them little biddies in there. Thank you, Trash. And folks, be sure to check out Trash. Don't check out your Trash. Check out Trashorama. Can you see that marble? Ah, now you can see it. See that? Now I'm trying to let this glue set here. We also have some green stuff that's setting. So there's your fell beast, and the idea is, well, look at that. That's a nice rock solid, very heavy base. Here, let's just be crazy here. Yeah, so he's not tipping over. He's not falling over because this is big, solid, sculpey base right here. Made from baked sculpey. Here's, so you can see the individual stones right there. Our individual blocks that we use. It was kind of like Legos. It's like Lord of the Rings Legos. Look at that. Legos that you can break and then paint. Legos are fun, right? Legos that you can break and paint are even more fun. But Oscar here, he actually is standing on that base. Oh, thanks, Drew. Now, where did my brush go before we... there it is. So this is their fell beast, Melvin's playmate right here. Oscar is his name. And we're just trying to get Oscar up to speed here now with Melvin and the Witch King. So Drew, I hope that you had a good stream. I hope that the cat was not being a pain going up to the cat door, which is the size of an elk or something like that. But the cat just insists that door be open for him. Oh, speaking of something the size of an elk, this is not the size of an elk. Let's move in a little bit closer here, and then let's double check our focus for you. Melvin and the Witch King is either it's like a buddy movie, right? It's like a children's buddy story or something like that. Like the, poor banished first age child just has nobody to play with. Like none of the kids want to play with him. They all say that he's evil or something like that. And then like miraculously along comes Melvin, who has also been rejected by the other creatures of Middle Earth because they say he's mean. And the two of them, they just kind of get together and they hang out and they like knock things over and maybe destroy stuff once in a while, maybe eat a couple 100 villagers, something like that. But they do it together, and that's important. You should always do things together with your friends. You don't want to just do things by yourself. So I think I think they're definitely they're just like two buddies, inseparable. Well, until someone separates Melvin from his head, I suppose. So yeah, let's just say that he and Eowyn just don't get along too well. So Eowyn is she's still packed away in one of the miniature cases because Melvin's not a big fan of Eowyn. He gets a little bit nervous around her. Ah, see it's a heartwarming tale of destruction in Middle Earth. I mean, and it's definitely heartwarming, especially when it takes place around Mount Doom. I mean, what doesn't keep you warm just seeing that, like a fiery volcano spitting out the lavas. Now let's get ourselves a little hint of some wood texture here. I know there's nothing carved in or sculpted in there. Now who knows? Maybe that's what Amazon has in mind, and that they've been kind of fooling us here, saying it's going to take place in the Second Age, or maybe I don't know. Who knows? Maybe it's going to be Melvin and the Witch King. That's going to be your Amazon series. Wow. I guess I shouldn't have signed that NDA. Oh well, I guess I'm in trouble now. I guess Amazon is coming after me for giving away the plot of their entire new series, Melvin and the Witch King. Well, you're always looking to something that appeals to the broadest audience, and Melvin and the Witch King is certainly that'll be popular with the kiddies. Now again, the Hobbit entrails that might be scattered across Bag End or something like that, you just kind of tell the kids, oh, that's just like some that's just some kind of spaghetti that's been scattered across. Like Bilbo spilled some spaghetti. It's like, but then why is Bilbo's head sitting on top of it? Well, that happens. Sometimes you just got to break a few eggs. Now we're going to we got to start doing a little more intricate things here with some of our blues. Let me see. This guy's defender of Mount Cork. The dwarves were known to have mounds of cork for basing products. Yes, they do. Yes, look at this. They're hoarding all the cork. Look at that. Well, they dug too deep for more cork, and that's when they uncovered, oh gosh, the cork rog. That doesn't sound fun. But yeah, they uncovered something in the depths of Mount Spoon there. They went too deep in the dark. Well, if they hadn't used flashlights, it wouldn't have been such a problem. Who would have thought that the Balrog, poor Balrog, he's just trying to get some sleep. He has like insomnia or something like that, and he's thinking, I'm set here for at least a couple of more ages, and then along come these idiot dwarves banging and making noise. I'll catch you later, Kelvadia. Yeah, it was fun having you in, and we'll be doing this again, well, technically later today. Not technically. We'll be doing it later today. So again, more of our reflected light here now. And it's just going to be a game of reflected light. It'll be a game of reflected light all over the place here. So this interesting, this flat matte white, or quick, what is it called? Sorry, I got to find the Gamlin Fast Matte Titanium White. First time I've ever used this, so I'm just not quite sure what to expect. I mean, hey, you got to try new stuff all the time. And what better way to do it than an Oscar, the shiny trash can. Let's see, Melvin and the Witch King sounds like some 90s indie band out of Portland. See, that was the other thing that also kind of popped into my head, was some kind of a, well, actually, maybe the Nine is actually a boy band or something like that. It's like a boy band comprised of boys that are, what, how many thousands of years old? That's it. A bunch that the Nine are actually, it's a has-been boy band. And that's why they're heading to Weathertop, because they think that's a concert. That's gonna be like an outdoor concert or something like that. Yeah, boy, again. Oh, sorry guys, that was season 2 of the new Amazon series that just got revealed there. So sorry about that. Yeah, you didn't really think you could come here for breaking info on the new Amazon Lord of the Rings series, but you just got it. You heard it here first. Probably never again, because a helicopter's probably going to show up on the lawn here or something. Hey, Crocodile, how you doing? Well, Melvin in the Witch King shirt. That could be quite the. It could be very interesting. I think so. I don't know. I would wear that shirt too, actually. Now, of course, the 9, a shirt like that, you'd have to have. I guess which king, or which of the, do you have the kind of the Black Rider look to him on that shirt, or do you have that Twilight Ringwraith look? Now here, let's reflect some of this here. So we're gonna take. So this is some of our ivory black, and the whole idea is to get ourselves a warm-ish gray. There's even a little bit of red into that, because remember, we wanted to reflect some of that marble. And if we're going to reflect that, we can't have it be the same kind of bluish gray as our sky colors. So that's why we're going to use yellow here. Well, our off-white yellow anyways. And we'll get a bit more of our... Oh, look at that. Yeah, see what that's doing there? I'll make it a concert tour. Oh, Dice, what we should do is... it's like the Third Age tour. So it would start, I get, what would it start with like Arnor, the Barrow Downs. They would do all the places that they've played, all the different places that Osgiliath, Minas Morgul. Let's say, Pelennor Fields. Yeah, it would be a listing of all the places that they've showed up and had some fun. Probably wouldn't be listing Bree as one of the shows. So there's another one of our, nice little extra reflected light there. Kind of thinking of reflecting some of this. Let's see. Better than I was a few weeks ago. I'm glad, Croc, that you're doing a little bit better. Yeah, with tour dates in Mirkwood. So Gary, I think you'll need to be caught up to speed on some of the new ideas and concepts here for concert tour T-shirts of the 9, and the Witch King and the Fell Beast is going to be a fun like kids show. That's the new Amazon Lord of the Rings series, where a lonely and rejected Nazgul meets up with a dark creature who's also been banished, and the two of them, they just kind of get up to adventures and hijinks. Because, I mean, who doesn't want to get up to adventures and hijinks? Now, speaking of reflections, how can his arm not reflect? This is supposed to be shiny armor. How does his arm not reflect something on here? Is there some kind of magic anti-reflection thing going on here? I think not. So we're going to make something reflected on there. Yeah. Now we need ourselves some of this dark brown. That's got to go up here. Starting to think of a wee bit of a horizon line here almost. Just a touch of a horizon line. And now we got to start, see that little vertical element there? Have to start doing stuff like that. We need to start to get some decent darks here on our blade to make that looking sharper. Although that's going to have a tough time with Melvin's hide. I think it really is just going to tickle Melvin instead of actually poking any holes in him. Let's see, they have to live together and an apartment in San Diego, played by Tom Hanks. Oh, and he says that Smeagol lives from being thrown into the volcano, and the show is about dealing with addiction. Smeagol and the Nazgul. Ah, those pesky rascals. And I think at the end of every episode, what's his name? Sauron just says those meddling kids, or would it be Saruman that says those meddling kids? And I think maybe Rohan, they would have to have some kind of chariot or something like that that looked more like the Scooby-Doo mobile or something like that. So instead of riding around on horses, they would just be using a VW microbus or something. I don't know. It's crazy. Now, next time I'm going to Palantir you. Yes, the ratings. It would be a rating smash. And of course, instead of the beacons of Minas Tirith, that would be all of the cell phone, not the cell, all the television antennas. And just think what you didn't see in the close-up of the Minas Tirith city. You didn't see all the satellite dishes that were hanging off the sides of all those buildings. I mean, when you're living in that vertical of an environment, I mean, unless you're at the top level, your reception is going to be terrible. Oh yeah, Sauron's always tuning in on that Palantir. I think that's why he got really mad at what's his name, Wormtongue, for tossing that down. He's like, dude, that was like the best plasma screen in all of Middle Earth. Why'd you do that? Oh, that's as Sauron takes off his helmet and you find out who Sauron really is. Yes. Or what's his name? Geraldo tries to do a reveal shot. See, we're getting a little sharper edge there now. Now it's not just color contrast, value contrast. Trying to get some edge contrast in there. So you try to find the cities of the dead, and it turns out there's nothing there. Now we'll get some darks too in our just our shield here, whatever. Sort of encourage the idea that there's maybe some wood grain right there. Not sure why, but we tend to do that on shields that are flat like that. Just give them a little bit of interest. Back to our Prussian blue over here. Oh, the Radagast Grubhub delivery service. Yeah. Well, you just don't want whatever that sauce is that's on his head or in his hair. You probably don't want too much of that sauce. Yeah, don't eat the white sauce on Radagast's head. That probably won't taste so good. Now we're going to take our blending brush here and just start to manipulate some of this here. And you can see how it's bringing out some of our Prussian blue. I think we could use a few lights here on the end of our armor. Right about there. Oh, that's way more stars than I remember on that tree of maybe those are leaves, not okay. We'll just assume those are leaves. Ish, kinda. Let's see, serving actual grubs, yes. Let's see, Bard signs a deal with HGTV to rebuild the homes of Lake Town. Oh, it would almost be like what was it, Hands Across? No, not Hands Across. What was it, Farm Aid? That's it. It would sort of be like a Farm Aid style concert. Of course, I'm not quite sure how much that the former boy band of the Nine would be welcomed there. See, maybe that's what it was. It wasn't the rings that corrupted them. It was just that rough life on the road. It was touring. That's what got them. It wasn't the power of the rings. It was just constant touring. They toured way too much. Their parents were way too demanding. Now we're going to get just a smidge of our blue over here now. Just a little hint of the sky blue there. Back to something that is darker and cooler over here. It is interesting. Now this is, we did a little bit of a, no, it was an indigo blue and Van Dyke brown pre-glaze on this. So that was fun. And originally we did the blue liner on there too. So yes, you can paint over acrylics with oils. We do it all the time. Most certainly can. We need to get this darker here too. Not going to look terribly shiny otherwise. Now, let me see if we can find a decent one of our quad zeros here. There's a couple of these guys. I forgot to mark them, so I'm not quite sure which ones are newest or oldest. Oh, let's just try one and see what the heck happens. Oh, let's see. That's a mouthful right there to say that one. Yeah, I have a tendency to create these forms of exotic spontaneous fiction. That's what we'll call it. Exotic spontaneous fiction. I know it happened. Oh, I was at a friend's house and they had their, the plastic army men out there, and these were much more historically accurate army men. So, yeah, we sort of changed some of the alliances around a wee bit. And the kids were like, at first they were like, but no. And then they said, oh, yeah, let's do that. So, yeah, it was kind of the same thing. We created something quite unusual. But hey, we need entertainment, so I think that's entertainment. I don't know, would the Book of Wappel be referred to as the Wapplenomicon? Potentially, I suppose. Now, tricksy little metal tree of Gondor here is definitely going to be picking up some of these lights. I'll probably be going back in here with some kind of a glaze to tone some things down, like you do. Now, Oscar could use some eyes. I'm thinking he's a little tense right now. I'm thinking he has got to be feeling just a wee bit of pressure here, so it's not the quadruple round I'm looking for. I did order some more of those, so some replacements are on the way. I think this one might work maybe a bit better. And yes, this is one of those 17-year-old, 20-year-old GW figures, because, well, I don't know if they're ever going to be updating these guys. Back to a little bit of our Prussian blue. Absolutely love that stuff. Does some amazing things. I think we need another. Yes, we need another line of lighter coat right in here. This glove, maybe not so much. Let's see if we can get the top edge of this shield. Let my Prussian blue mix into that. Now the shield here, I gotta avoid any kind of, well, any significant reflected light there. Otherwise, well, it's supposed to be wood, so probably not going to be all that bright.
So say we all. So say we all.
Ah, look at that, Chrissy Lids. Thank you so much for the sub here. Well, with what remains in our Halloween glass here, we will salute you. And thank you so much for doing that. I hope that all is well. Let's see, if Sauron wasn't banished, he'd be turning in his gravel. Oh, and Dino Titan Edition. Hey, and it's been a wee while. I was hoping that this time frame would be much more amenable to some of our European friends. So glad to see you in here. And Crystalids, I hope all is going well with, well, making, geez, how many hundreds of figures a day are you making supports on by now? It's got to be so many. And I salute you for doing that, because I can only imagine some of the annoying things that go along with that potentially. So Titan Dino, thanks again for joining us here. Now, what we'll do is we will show you, we've been talking about, well, Melvin and the Witch King has become a variety of TV shows here. So this is Oscar. We shall show you his playmate right here. We're just going to zoom backwards here, out a little bit. Oh, sorry, the things have been turbulent. It seems like for everybody, there's just been all kinds of just super craziness happening, aside of just the overall super craziness. So here is the Fell Beast, Melvin, and the Witch King, and Oscar here. He is going to be right there. So his right foot is going to be standing on that little rock over there. Now we are, at some point, I think we're going to be adding another little stone in here. Now that's this one right here. We might break this one up into some more pieces, unless we just leave it like this, maybe. I don't know. But we'll see how that's going to work. We don't have to decide right now. Oh, thanks, Dino. That was, I think it is still, at this point, it's still a VOD. It's going to be a highlight. And we did all that on stream, so you can go check out the painting of the Witch King. He's all part of our Sporktober extravaganza. You know what? We could put, yes. I'm just going to toss a little touch of my, oh, we don't have burnt umber out. Well, let's see what we make. So we know what's going to, that is going to be green. That's interesting. It makes a very interesting greenish color. I thought so because your Van Dyke Brown has so much more blue in it to darken it down. So we're just trying to give him a little touch of maybe different color in this area. Now let's get this zoom back in again, otherwise you're not going to be able to see a whole bunch. I mean, we're going to push the camera down a bit more, and I think that is helpful. A little bit more of our lighter yellow in just a couple of spots here. I got these figures here. They're, if you're expecting miraculous detail from these ancient Lord of the Rings figures, that's just not going to be the case, unfortunately. I wish it were, but sadly, not so much. We're also going to find out just how fast the fast-drying white dries. Now that's a heap and health of nice light blue there. Oh, hey, Love Energy, how are you doing? I can see, or can I see how? Oh, one sec. That's I think we used some warmer colors there, because well, we were trying to reflect some of the white of the marble that he is flying on. So we'll get to that in just a second. I'm going to add my light blue up here before I forget. There. Okay, that is in place now. Now it was mostly paint. I think a little bit of our, yeah. So there was some umber in there, some Van Dyke brown, So there's your umber in there. We were using Van Dyke brown. A lot of our off-white yellow was in there. Now that was painted in oils, so like I said, you can go back and watch the VOD of the, not the VOD, well yeah, the VOD, I think it's still a VOD at this point. So you can go back and watch that, and that'll show you all the colors that it was painted in. And that way, yeah, you can see all the object source lighting, you can see the Witch King, all kinds of good stuff. Yep. Now, by the time you get a chance to see it, it might already be a highlight. So if you ever want to see a past episode that I've done here, I try to make sure that they're in a highlight form. Once I found out that you can basically take your entire episode and turn it into a highlight, I started doing that. I just wish I'd known that from day one, from the get-go. But just about every single thing I learned about Twitch just had to be learned the hard way. Because, well, I was much more used to YouTube. And that definitely works way differently than Twitch does. Ah, okay. Let's see, Gary asks, my one-shot primer, oh, should finally arrive this week. That's good. I still have problem imagining how to start my project. Let's see, well, actually what you could potentially do is just shoot me like an Instagram message or something like that, and just you know, with maybe pictures of what it is you had in mind or what you're actually working on or something like that. That's always a possibility too. Now I assume you're gonna be working in your oils too. Now, what was the overall color scheme you're thinking about? And it's also gonna matter, like, what's the environment, the basing, what kind of lighting did you have in mind? All of those things will definitely have a big effect on it. I need to get another row here of lighter colors right in here. So like this. We need to go strong on our lights on the edge here so that we actually get that nice strong sharpness next to some of the softer blending here.
Hello, little hobbit. Spark my ganja.
Thank you so much for that follow. Love energy. That is appreciated. So the Book of Wappel, people say, or I'm sorry, Book of Wappel. Now, our most recent chapter of the book, I thought was actually the painting pyramids. I was about to explain the painting pyramid. Now, if you go back, how long were we painting on this guy? I don't know, 40 minutes or so. There was nothing on this guy. It looked like a mess. Just like our base looked like a mess. If you go back and watch the painting of Melvin, it looked like a mess, like an absolute mess. That's one of the toughest things for people to get through when they're starting, is that idea that it looks like a mess. And when you watch pretty much all of the stuff that I do, you saw none of these little fun spectral highlights, none of these reflective things, right? It was just, we were taking a big old brush, right? We had this big old, we're just slapping dark blue colors all over the place and dark brown colors everywhere. We weren't doing any kind of detailed stuff, whatever. And I think it's tough for people, especially when they are first starting out, to get past that part. Yeah, it's a much easier thing, because then I can sort of look at what it is that you're doing and really formulate some kind of a better response for you. Now we're also going to find out just how fast does some of this stuff dry. You know, how fast does that fast white dry? We're taking our little blending brush here. We're just kind of moving some of this stuff around here. Taking away some of the brush strokes. And remember, as always, less is more. That would be, if you were going to get another reading from the Book of Wappel, that's another thing you would get. is that less is more. You just want to have as little as possible on that brush for just so many different reasons. Now I'm just going to be cleaning out a quick brush here. Let me get to this. I think we have an awful lot of our Prussian blue still left in this guy here, so we're just trying to get that cleaned out of there. I think we finally maybe have gotten that. Gonna thin down some of our, well, I guess it is apparently a quick dry matte white, and it does seem to be on the dry side. It is a Gamlin color, by the way. Let's see, Infinity Miniatures, which is like robotic humans. I made the bases with ZBrush and 3D printed. Ah, that's going to be interesting to see. There's an awful lot of basing elements that I'm hoping to be eventually able to just print myself. Some of those extra bits, like the skulls, the broken swords, shields, that sort of thing, instead of pirating, well, like this, where, oh, where's my, is it this base? No, it's the other base, I think. Yeah, so instead of pirating entire boxes of one of these vampire accounts, maybe be able to print out that kind of a thing. That could be a little more economical, maybe. That's more of a thing in the future, I believe, is gonna not anytime soon. I think it doesn't necessarily have to, especially just how we're kind of planning ahead for next year. I think I'm gonna be able to do a lot more 3D printing next year. Geez, I want to be able to print terrain pieces too. Or at least things like doors and window frames and that sort of stuff that are not terribly fun or efficient to just build one by one. So trying to, again, find some more, just places where we can throw a little bit of that nice bright highlight here. Also thinking about reflecting, again, the helmet reflecting onto his shoulder, because it actually would reflect there. So think of that almost as a reflection of his helmet or whatever onto his shoulder. Finish up his tree right here. And sometimes there is no grand plan or strategy or anything like that. It's just, well, let's throw some colors on this and see what happens. Because, the nice thing about the oils is you can always just wipe them away. So see, there's another, we're starting to do another little set of striations here. We need some blue like that over here. Just like that. And now let's get some of that onto his greaves over here, or yeah, those are greaves, not glaives. Glaives is a weapon. Already with the words not doing the thing. So yeah, this is another case where a beat up $4 brush is doing a much better job with details than basically a brand new Winsor Newton Series 7. That is why I've just completely given up on those in favor of the poor man's Series 7, which seems to be doing way better than the rich man's Series 7s. Here, let's get a nice little leading edge on that. And once again, we are going to just throw some of our blue tack here because I didn't want to throw too much glue on this cork because I don't want it to actually stay permanently stuck to this particular Dead Reaper paint jar. I need that for other things. See, more reflected light. All kinds of reflected shiny things. Let's see, never gave basing much thought. About the interview I gave. Oh, Vince Ventrell, that's right. Talked about bases. Well, you can see just the difference that they can make, right? I mean, you've got your just here with, and this is the exact same type of base. It's just painted differently. Oh, look, we have a third one. So it's the exact same type of basing, but look at the theme that it can create. Hey, Lady B, how are you doing? You know, even here for your Necrons, it gives them such a fantastic, and there's so many great products being made right now. I guess boy, when I think of what it was like years ago, well, look at this. So you've got your Scorpion here for your, oh gosh, what are these guys? The Night's Watch, right? Well, that muddy snow, right there. You got the icicles hanging off of there. This is just literally sticks that I took my X-Acto knife, just sharpened them up, literally just a stick from in front of the house. That's all it was. It had such a theme to it. You know, we've got, oh, here's our other Necron guy right here. Okay, 1 second. We got to find the thing that just fell off of our, there we go. So there's another one of your Necron bases, and another one of those texture rollers, right? And just a couple extra little skelly friends on there. Does all kinds of fun things. Let's see. Gary's designing an engine part. Oh wow, that's that is definitely above my brain level right there. Designing engine parts? Nope. Don't know how to do that. Now we're going to get a touch of our white right along here. Ah, there we are. So that's why that had to be at least kind of a mid-tone, right? For us to be able to lighten it up that much. So it's interesting with this flat white. I haven't used this particular titanium white before, so we are learning what its properties are literally just as we go here. We'll do some right over here. Oh yeah, see, we got that blue that we can take advantage of now. But you see, even these light, they don't go all the way across. They're broken. So you have a dot there, then a line. It's almost like Morse code, like a little bit of a dot or a dash, dot, dash. Almost a little bit of Morse code happening there. So Wappelville says sometimes too, like we're talking about the basing, your basing undergoes dramatic changes. And when I was doing all the Wild West Exodus stuff, and that's where the Wappelville stuff was created, the whole town of Wappelville, everything, that required a whole different type of basing that I'd never done before. I'd never done steampunk basing. I'd never done any kind of Western themed stuff at all, or steampunk. So that was quite the learning experience. So here's some of the miniatures that were involved with that. Well, let's grab you and you. So you could. This is where we really started to dive into that bark and branch basing. Was on the Wild West Exodus stuff. But then the steampunk basing, stuff like this, had never really done anything like that. We've got another base here. So just take a look at these pieces. You say, well, where the heck did that come from? It wasn't actually a Sculpey base. That was leftover pieces of MDF. And that is that wooden terrain that was a big part of Wappelville here, the town of Wappelville. Here, let's scroll down. Whoops, almost there. Bang. So all of those buildings that you see, the jail, the church, the train station, the cantina, all that stuff made out of MDF by Burn-In Designs. We got the water tower, better view of the train station. We have, oh, the final slumber funeral home. That's right, and our boardwalks. And there's the lawmen of Wappelville guarding the town, making sure that that gang of drapery designers are not going to be bringing in any of that fancy stuff into town. It's the old show cartoon, Brave Star. Oh yeah, Lady B, all that stuff is sitting in the basement. It's in a plastic bin down in the basement. Sadly, probably never going to get used again because unless someone else comes up with we could just continue playing the game as we were playing it. It's one of those things where the company that made it sold it to another company, and they sort of took away all the Wild West flavor of it and made it sort of like Malifaux 3.0 or something, and that just killed any interest I had in it. So yeah, unfortunately all that stuff is just all packed away in the basement. Now we need some reflected light in a couple places here. But yeah, it was really a bummer, and I feel sorry for whenever that happens to anybody, that a game that they really do enjoy and it ends up going somewhere else. Now, for some folks, it's just the game. They don't care. It's just about the rules. For us, we had we had the whole town of Wappelville. We had a whole story around it. And when that was changed, it kind of wiped out the whole story, and that kind of wiped out any desire for me to keep going with it. So now we're going to just put a pinch more of a, see, a little more reflected light there. Now this has to actually be more of a sky color here. So we got some of that. And there we are. So it's also a smoother, nice smooth blend right there. Yeah, they had just done the second Kickstarter, and they had just done, I think, 4 new factions, and just right after that, that's when it was sold, and that's when things got sad, and that was the end of it for me, unfortunately. Now, I don't want to just keep making the tree on the chest here lighter and lighter, because it's just the same color metal on the same color metal. It's not anything different, so don't want to get too different with that. We are going to see if we can lighten up those fingers a bit. Now, I'm still thinking that he's wearing gloves, but I think we're going to lighten those up a little bit here. Like this. Just enough. Then I got to get a different color on that spear shaft, I think. We'll do a couple of lighter bits here with this tone, and then, I think I need to get a little bit of a greenish color on that. So berry white green. To the rescue here. That's it. Yeah, we'll go do some more of that on the spear over here too. Now, pants. They just, I've been looking at all the different pictures. They really don't show too much more than that. Let's see. Oh, thanks, Lady B. Now, of course, it's okay because bolt action, that's one of those things where you can't really change the fluff. So you can't have a Sigmar thing happen with bolt action. I've got that. And of course, Lord of the Rings, they can't really change the fluff on that either. So there's about 2 of the most stable game systems, I guess, you could possibly imagine, which is that's why I like them, because they're nice and stable. Oh yeah, Dino. Someone else told me about the Dead Man's Hand. That I've heard about that a couple of times here. Catches all the stereotypes from the spaghetti westerns and some of the less serious Wild West movies. Okay. Now we did the only role-playing game that I ever really enjoyed outside of Inquisitor, I think it was, and that would be Deadlands. So I enjoyed that because there was very much that Civil War. Well, I used to do Civil War reenacting, so maybe that's as soon as you take that away, it would sort of be like taking the English Civil War and instead of Roundheads and Cavaliers, you've got like the Cleveland Cavaliers versus the Kool-Aid Man. I mean, it was that level of, oh my gosh, what the heck happened here? Oh, let's see. I keep thinking Monday's my Tuesday. Keep forgetting. Oh yeah, that's they do their. Now I don't believe that Kathy's going to be on this particular Sunday because they are interviewing somebody from Judgment. And when they do an interview, I think one of them usually steps away. And I do believe that Kathy's going to be stepping away on Sunday. Now we're going to get some dark over here, right into this area. Yeah, let's just do that. I might. Oh boy, you know what? I think I'm going to just see if I can't sneak. We got to respect the Umber. No matter what the situation is, you always must respect the Umber. As we can respect it as soon as we can find it, though. Nope, that's not the Umber either. Boy, is it getting so cheeky that it's hiding in a different... Oh, look at that. It's hiding in a different spot. It's like, well, I am so respected now. I can go wherever I want. Look at that. Well, you're still going in your same spot on the palette over there. Pesky, pesky Umber. Look at that, being all cheeky. Umber on the shield. Ah, there we go. It's probably not going to make a noticeable difference at first, but we used Umber on Melvin, the Fell Beast. If color goes somewhere, it must go everywhere. We're going to get it over here too. Even on Oscar. We're going to get some of that on his feet here. I think we also could use some dark. Now, Gary has to go back to work. Let's see, breakfast break is over. Yep, and again, Gary, I'll try and make this into a... Sometimes I actually make things into highlights even a little bit faster, even before they're not a VOD anymore. But thanks again for hanging out. Yeah, Electron, I remember that. Everybody was so enthused about that. They loved it. And somebody broke some part of the rule system, and GW, instead of fixing it, they kind of just let it die, which is sad. I never got a chance to play that. I remember in the store they were all excited about it and stuff, and I said, well, hey, what about that War of the Ring? And they said, well, yeah, nobody's playing that anymore. And I went, wait a minute, that wasn't 3 years ago. That was just a few months ago. Now, I've never had a chance to play that. I'll have to. Well, at some point, it would be interesting because, well, obviously on the live streams we'll be doing mostly the normal size games, but I like playing on a 6x4 table, and I'm sure that War of the Ring was very much designed for a 6x4 table experience. And you know how much I love my terrain. So something that gives me a... well, let's see. It's the circle meets the square, right? Those movement trays. Oh, you know, see, and it was, well, when the Chicago Battle Bunker used to be open, that was, there was a, well, there was a healthy community of everything. There was a Blood Bowl community there. There was even a Necromunda community. They were playing, what was the fantasy one? Oh, I've already forgot. Sorry, I forgot the fantasy one. It's right on the tip of my tongue. But they were playing that, right? They had a league for that, just like a Blood Bowl league. It was fantastic, and then they just eventually closed the whole place down. I played War of the Ring for several years. I think it, to me, gosh, what is the game that's trying to be War of the Ring in some ways is the Song of Ice and Fire game. See, we got no reflected light over here. We need some right there. See that? Because how can this arm not be reflected on his armor? If his armor's going to be shiny, it doesn't have to be like a mirrored reflection of his arm. There's got to be something there. Just can't be nothing. Got to be something. Painted another Blood Bowl fan for the sideline at the moment. I used to run 300 mimes. Oh, sorry, I called him. Oh, that's the thing I've got to. I got to remember to make a little a picture story for you guys of the Mimes of Moria. It was my Blood Bowl team. My God, well, actually, it's on the blog. Just search Mimes of Moria on the blog, and you will see my beloved Mimes of Moria. Yes, they were street mimes. Yes, they were French. And it was glorious. They actually went to the playoffs twice in 2 seasons. I think they actually averaged over 3 touchdowns a game. Now, I'm going to see if I've got my brightest lights on his arm here yet. Oh, I think, yeah, we can see that? We can still get a few bits of lighter color onto his arm there. See what's going to happen with his helmet. We're just going to have a few spots that give that some sparkle. Separate it from his face for sure. All right, up here. Got to do something up there. That's just a little bit of a... That's a wee bit of a mess up there. Do we got a genuine vision in the house? Where's Jan? There he is. How are you doing? Oh, War of the Ring. Is there some? I think somebody's doing painting tutorials on the figures for that. On that the War of the Ring board game. Yeah, that's. Well, I assume there's no solo play for that. Sadly, if there was, I'd have to pick that up. So, Jan, we're painting Oscar here. He's actually part of a base. Literally, this is just a basing element here. Because I think you were watching this one, right? When we were painting up Melvin here. But now we've got him on his, on his base here. A little bit of Gondorian marble in there. So what we're going to be doing is probably adding another couple of broken stones in here, just kind of fill this out. Just maybe one or two more of different sizes, I think. There's a solo play for that trash. Let's see, they have the amount of miniatures in the box and left the price the same. Well, hey, I could just use my Lord of the Rings ones, right? We'll just do that. So how are you doing there, Jan? So there's a solo play. Okay, well, thanks, Trash. Good to know. Because I saw that, and I don't know, maybe something like that could be interesting to stream. If it is a solo play, that is something that could be, I suppose, streamed. Maybe I do a hand paint. I assume it comes with about how big is the board, I guess is my next question. Because maybe I just do my own hand-painted board with some kind of almost 3D-like terrain. I don't know. I haven't seen the game, so I don't know how practical that is. It might be completely impractical. Oh, let's see. One thing I never understood in War of the Ring is why the Balrog couldn't fly. I think that was something where they gave the Balrog wings in the show, right, to make him more intimidating, but in the books they don't necessarily have wings, or it's just kind of nobody knows because he never really said so. Well, heck, in the book, he refers to an army of Balrogs attacking, oh, what was that, the elven city that was hidden until it got found. And there was some like 7 Balrog, or an army of Balrogs or something like that. And I mean, Gandalf himself had a heck of a time just fighting one Balrog. Let's see. Maybe I may corner the Wappelian this year and force them to play Lord of the Rings games. Yeah. Well, Trash, I guess at ReaperCon, well, I think I still had Lord of the Rings figures with me. Now, obviously, most of the figures were Song, Ice, and Fire. But, I mean, Lord of the Rings takes up a heck of a lot less space than Song, Ice, and Fire does. So, I don't, maybe in a future year, we try to sneak in some Lord of the Rings figures. Heck, we maybe even paint some. We paint and play. Now, we've gotten all kinds of lighter, medium tones, mid-tones. Let's do some darks in here. Essentially, see the shield, we're going to try and have a line that goes right up here to show where that shield would be, like there. See that? That's what we've been doing with the highlights over here. We kind of did that with the darks over here now. Fire and I've seen the Mimes of Moria, but what stuck more was this. Oh yes, that was the. Oh gosh, what was that one called? Yeah, I did 2 of those sort of samurai themed orc teams. So there should be 2 of those teams up on the blog there. Oh, let's see. The Balrog fell into the pit. If it could fully fly, it wouldn't have crashed at the bottom. I guess that, yeah, in the books themselves, that they don't even really describe, outside of Shadow and Flame. That's about the only real description they give them. Speaking of object source lighting, the only one of us has had a chance to paint a Balrog is Kathy so far. So I have to, maybe, I don't know, maybe I can see if I can snag one of those on eBay or something. I don't even care if it's the old metal one. Now, more reflection over here. Let's just do this. Again, thinking about his shield over here, reflecting onto his armor over there. Oh yeah, it's kind of funny because back in the day when Kathy painted it, we didn't know anything about fluorescent paints. And it was interesting because she was painting it at the bunker, and these kids would come up to her and say, well, Balrogs aren't yellow. Well, of course, she was painting the lightest colors first and then was putting the darker stuff over the top, and it was difficult for the kiddies to understand that's what she was trying to do. So we tried to kind of take them aside and explain. Ah, there we go. See, we needed that dark right there, kind of a horizon line almost. Let's see. They are described in the Silmarillion, but too long since I read it. Yeah, boy, that was kind of the golden days of the bunker. They actually had, oh, what the heck was it called? It was called the Academy. And kids, they actually had homework assignments, and there was a graduation ceremony at the bunker. Just about every day of the week, there was some kid was graduating from the academy, and he'd get his certificate, and he would get a wog from everybody in the store. That was some really neat stuff. So again, getting our dark on this side of him here. Yes, actually, well, it would be nice if they would have gave you your banner back, but that banner up, that was at the stage where they did all of those graduations. That's where the banner was. And folks, definitely be sure to check out the Armored Wolf Instagram and Etsy pages and just take a look at some of the, like, that fantastic metalwork. That's well, that's not up on Instagram yet, but man, if you could see what I saw, what was sent to me in some messages earlier today, as we're going to add, ooh boy, I'm tempted at a little bit of dark right in here. Just a smidge right there. Some of the fantastic work on those dice bags. The metal work on this latest one is just, it is pretty darn, well, they're always amazing, but this is some really extra special stuff. Ah, yeah, the an ogre king. That's right, the Great Maw, right, for Ogre Kingdoms. And well, you had those little like the grubs on there. Well, not so little, but there was all kinds of fun stuff going on with that banner. Boy, can you imagine what you could do now? Wow, it'd be pretty incredible. I think we need some more reflected light on this part of the spear. Yeah, let's do that. Oh, there we go. Wee bit of reflected light right there. Now we're gonna take our berry white green here. Get this side. I need a little there's some nice separation there. Now his pants here, I'm gonna go with some of this lighter green, and if that's not quite sufficient, I will go back the other way and just use some of my dark brown and some of that black. But I don't necessarily want everything just to be dark here. Let's get a little bit of light onto that. Also, this is the part that you're probably most likely going to be looking at here. Sadly, a lot of this is going to be covered. Well, not covered, but you'll be able to see through the door. You will be able to look, well, not the door, through that window. I think you'll be able to see Oscar right there. That should be pretty dramatic. I can't wait to take pictures of this fell beast on my terrain board. Maybe with some nice mood lighting too. Okay, that's going to be a little bit, boy, that Prussian blue. I thought phthalo blue could really just dominate other stuff, but that Prussian blue, I guess I just remember it being almost more like an indigo blue back in the day, but boy, was I wrong. It's been a while. Hey, Gallowfire, how are you doing? Oh, it's so genuine. How did the stream go on Sunday? And obviously, getting ready for the 31st. There, how many is it? 4 elements that you're combining into one there. Birthday, 3-year stream anniversary, or is it 3 things? You're combining 3 or 4 things together in that stream of yours on the 31st. Oh yeah, just a couple of later things there. You know, I just could use that now. Now, where's Mr. Burnt Umber? Yes, we're gonna do this, I think. Alright, a couple of the rivets here. I don't want it to look like it's rusted, but maybe, or maybe some of the black paint here is maybe rubbed away. Just give it a little more depth. As I'm looking at the actual guys wearing the Gondor stuff, some of the color on the shields is kind of worn away a little bit. Ah, that's better. That was just looking a little bit too flat. For as much as I've done everywhere else on Melvin and the Witch King, we need to make sure that Oscar down here holds up his end of the bargain. I need something lighter here. So let's grab some of this berry white green. There. So I'm just trying to, again, reflect some of the spear color onto that helmet. Let's see. Ba-ba-bum. Oh, that's right. Jan. Well, let's see. Combining three things: the birthday and Halloween. Oh, and Halloween. Duh. Yes. Don't mind me. I have no brain. I think that's just plain gone now. Interesting. This fast matte. What is it called here again? Let me just find this thing here. So it's from Gamblin, and it's called Fast Matte Titanium White, and as opposed to the other titanium white that I got that seemed to make absolutely no difference, like no difference at all from just regular old titanium white. So I'm glad that's actually, it seems to be different. Oh gosh, that is fast matte. Holy smokes! Wow. Okay. This could be an interesting. It's a little bit like some of the MiG ammo stuff almost. That could lead to some interesting things moving forward here. You might be seeing that more. Just saying. Ah, that's what that needed. I was missing that over here. Am I missing that on this side too? Yes, I am. Well, maybe not quite as much. Not to as much of a degree, but still somewhat. What about right here? I want to see if I can just sneak in a little bit of my phthalo blue here. No, that's going to be too late. A little less. Essentially, we're keeping in mind our Dol Amroth Knight. So I'll take a little look at him. Let's scroll on down to our Dol Amroth here, and you can kind of see what it is that we're after. So maybe not quite as shiny a look as this, because I mean this here's Dol Amroth, baby. I mean these are the elite guys right here. These guys know what they're doing. That's why they got the shinies. These Gondor guys, they're just like, whatever. Let's see. So, well, this has something in it that makes it more matte, and also apparently makes it dry a whole lot faster. Like a lot faster. Now, I'm not surprised that it would come from Gamlin, because that metallic paint that I used, that silver, that also dried really, really, really fast. Like MiG ammo fast, which was a big surprise. It's not like it was good or bad or whatever, but I was surprised at how fast it dried. That will certainly have an effect on how I do the rest of that army painting series. Now, chain of highlights. Here, right down to this. This leading there. So we got that kind of our shield shadow reflection thing. Look what's going to happen here as we add in a little. Look at that. See? Boom. Nice little, again, these vertical shapes like this. Really important. Especially when, well, he could be reflecting a whole bunch of different things. All those, the stones and things that have fallen around him. The wall, well, not much of a wall anymore. Kind of the broken wall that he's standing in front of. Now, back to something that's more of a light neutral color here. It's got a little bit of yellow, a little bit of brown. And what I'm trying to do, this is pretty much a real similar color to what we put on some of the stones of that broken archway. Sometimes to have light, you must have dark. I've got dark here. And that seems to do okay. That was helpful. What would also be helpful here is something like this. Boom, right there. So we got some of the sky color, maybe some of the ground color here. So we're just constantly bouncing back and forth. Boy, I don't know how much lighter I can go on these here gloves. That is about it. I think we're pretty good on the fingers on his hand over here. Oh, let's see. It is, well, I love me the shiny armor. I got to admit, I love doing the shiny things. I guess because just reflecting the environment, just like we did the Sky Earth on the shields of the, what was it, the Unsullied, right? We did those, the halberds, and of course doing this in oils. I mean, it's like you can do it in your sleep. You could practically be unconscious and still be able to do the object source slitting, the non-metallic metals with the oils, because you can blend everything. It's the land of the eternal blends. Even when it's all dry, you can still do fun stuff blending wise with it. You can just place a color on there and then just start pushing that around, making changes along the, ooh, horizon line. Hello, what's going on here? How did we not do this? There we go. But it's not a straight horizon line here. It's got interruptions, right? It's got up and down, all this kind of stuff. So many different facets to that. Okay, we've got our, gonna tone down a little bit of the wood texture. Wow, that stuff, that quick dry white, it's doing, I think it's doing some very quick drying. I could be totally wrong here, but I think that is actually making a substantial difference. Okay, speaking of differences here, yeah, I have reflected light here, but that's a little bit of a, it's kind of a flat line right there. What is that? What do I want to see reflected in that? Something more. I want something more divergent shapes here in that reflection. Oh, hey, Kratoa. How are you doing? Krotatoa, thank you so much for joining us here. I'm having so much fun. I have been wanting to do a diorama base for Nazgul. I did do one, actually. I think it's on the blog, and I think it's in my Lord of the Rings. It was actually Frodo. Obviously, it was that scene at the bridge there where you see the Nazgul fly up, and he's got the ring. I do believe, yeah, I tried doing a little diorama of that. And that was also Sculpey. Except there I didn't realize, bake the Sculpey, cut it into pieces, assemble it that way. Do not try to sculpt the stone texture in there. That's a complete waste of time and stupid. Actually, if you look at all those old dioramas. Oh, thank you so much then. That is much appreciated. Yeah, oh, since you joined that base, actually I just sent the link for that tonight, so you'll recognize this little thing of Sculpey pieces right here. So yeah, thank you so much for joining the Patreon page. And yeah, I just posted that new video before I started the session tonight. Yeah, oh, it was so much fun making that diorama base. Oh my goodness. I know I've mentioned it like 30 times in the last 10 minutes, but I don't usually get to do that. At least not for my stuff. It usually ends up being for somebody else's stuff. So I got more reflections on our, and I do have some other Gondor Figures up on the blog that you can check out too. I kind of like this interesting little, well, basically yellow ochre color. It's got a little hint of greenishness to it. Let's see if I can't get a little bit more into my wood grain texture here. This may be about as well. I know that Easterling, I wasn't using a lot of paint on him either, but boy, this one has like minimal. Take the most minimal amount of paint I ever used on a figure and subtract a lot. And that's about what you got here with Oscar. I think we need some color back there, or just something back there. I might even give him a little bit of green-ishness to his skin here. Why? Because, well, he's got all this armor around him, that bluish gray, that would be reflecting up onto his face, so we'll do that here. Ah, there we go. I don't even know if you can see that on screen, but that made a big old difference to me. What I just did there. More reflected light into here. I'm looking at what's happening over here too. I think we'll do a similar thing. Take some of this, targeting this right here, thinking that's the arm that gets reflected down onto the chest armor here. Okay, we have something to resolve here. So we're going to have that horizon line there. What about here? How come we have no horizon line here? Now, we have a quandary because, well, the spear is right over the top of that. We're trying to reflect the spear, but I think I might still need a horizon line here. Ah, that's better. Also, there's kind of a wonky joint right there because this just kind of presses into that, sadly. I mean, a figure that's almost 20 years old, which was not super detailed 20 years ago. Doing what we can with it. Taking some indigo blue here, which, believe it or not, shows up as darker than ivory black does. Because this has some semblance of a color to it. Especially, remember the umber that we put in here? It's another reason I threw that umber in there. It was a sneaky, cheeky thing that I did a little while ago. A little bit of this bluish gray here, and then we really do need to get some kind of a edge on his greaves here. Again, not tons of detail to work with. We work with what we got. You know what? I think you can see it. Yep. And these two, oh my gosh, big difference that made there. Yeah. Now that we got some real good separation there between armor and his leg. Gonna take, this is a little bit of Prussian blue mixed with our black. Nice intense dark blue. I do believe the top of his head could probably use a very bright light here. Couple areas we really haven't focused too much on these straight up little white dots, little white highlights that happen in some places. Oh yeah, I think we'll do a couple of them here. How's about a couple on this side? Yeah, oh, we already got those. Never mind. What about on here? breaking this up into a few more shapes. Now, if I break it up into too many, then I'm going to have to simplify. When in doubt, simplify. I also need a hint of blue over here. And I'm going to do a little, now that we got burnt umber on the actual palette here, we're going to take some of that umber. We're going to respect that umber. He will utilize it for a little bit of a glaze on his hair. Ah, yes. It needed that. Also, it makes the handle of that spear much more neutral. So much more neutral. Now, this is it's kind of another layer of the umber. It's got a bit of the cadmium yellow that's mixed in there. And we're kind of intentionally stippling here. We are trying to get something more than just a flat black shield. Okay, that's working for me. That is really working nicely. Same thing. I'm just so tempted to take this over. Ah, yes. There we go. See what we just did? We added that same shield color. We just added a pinch of it over here. We just kind of stippled that on. That's a nice addition right there. A nice addition. I'm going to sneak a little bit of this sort of yellowish brown color onto his like couple of areas that are maybe somewhat lighter. Well, maybe not that light, but whatever. It's kind of hard to... Is he wearing boots? What exactly is that? Now we're going to just take the paint out of this brush. We will move this stuff around here. Like you do. Ah, good enough. That's looking almost a little bit too grayish. We're going to see if we can take that off of the gray. Taking that off of the gray. And I'm just thinking the way he's oriented. I don't know. Maybe I can even... Gonna find some of this lighter stuff here, and maybe we even do something on this shit with some kind of chips here on the end of it. Something like make it look like it's gotten some use or whatever. Not just the orc shields that, I mean, if a shield has no cut marks on it or damage marks, well, he's either not seeing much action or he's not really using that shield very well. Okay, gives it a little more action there. I'm going to take some of this. And that I can't tell if that's a sleeve or armor or whatever. There's just a big old chunk right here, literally where the plastic just joins, because this is all one piece. The shield and the guy are all just one piece. The spear is the only separate piece in the part of the whole thing. Now this is going to be interesting to see what this looks like. Now, what is film noir? Film noir is actually, well, it's handy at any point, but I do suggest that you guys maybe try it with your own miniatures. Now, it's easy to do here with the camera, so let's look at all those blues. And then back here, see where we got that bluish color, and then over here it's much warmer gray. What happens when we do something like that? Well, we can look at here. Do we have still plenty of lights and darks? Do we still have plenty of shading here? It sure looks that way. It sure looks that way. So when you look at something now, let's say something that has a whole lot brighter colors to it. Also, now look at that cloak there. Plenty of light here. All right, now let's bring back our, this is again color contrast. Look at here. That looks like a purple robe. Look, there's literally blue. Then there's pink. There's almost no purple in this robe, yet it translates kind of as a purple robe. It's a little trick of the eye. We have saturation here, very unsaturated here. We have a cool color here, warm color here. So many more types of contrast than just light versus dark. But maybe take your phone, take a picture of your miniature, kill the color, right? I mean, there's plenty of apps that'll help you do something like that. Kill that color, and then just look and see. It'll tell you more about your miniature than anybody giving you any kind of a critique could do. You look at that, you will instantly know it's, oh, okay, I'll go back and maybe modify this. Maybe I need to add something here. You will know right away. And that's why film noir has value, as we like to say. So yeah, Dino, I don't know if you've tried doing that with any of your miniatures yet, just kind of taking a picture of them, making it black and white like that, just getting rid of the color. It tells you so much about your miniature. As it's obviously it's not difficult or anything like that. I know that we really kind of experimented with that at ReaperCon. And I've actually filmed a couple of tutorials almost entirely in black and white. Not entirely, but mostly in black and white. And it was a really fun, those are some fun exercises. I'm going to keep doing those. Because to see something just kind of all of a sudden emerge. It's pretty stunning to see the difference. I will darken this down a little bit more here. Yeah. Which way is this point? See, I was tempted to put a little bluishness for the sky on that. Can't do it. It's not pointed towards the sky. How can I justify putting blue on there? However, I might put some of our barite green into that. I just need, it's all looking kind of the same as our brown there. And it's going to scumble. Yeah, there we go. That's what we needed. That is what we needed. Yep. Whoops, that's a little bit too much of the thinner in there. We don't need quite that much. I got a little of this barite green. The more shapes I can squeeze into here, the more rounded it's going to look like. Let's see. So for the moment, I stick to my comic book novel style. I'm sure I could learn it. Practice makes perfect. Oh, there is not a lot of time. There is just not that much time. Oh, I'm really glad that you were able to hang out and watch this. This is one of those rare moments where I actually paint something that belongs to me. This is not going to go in the mail somewhere and be sent to somebody else and I never see it again. This is very rare for me. So this is always kind of extra fun when I get to do this kind of a stream. Usually anything that I'm painting is something that I know is just going to be gone. Now, as neat as that was to have that lighter, I think I need a little bit more of a darker blue up here. And just scumbled that right in. I needed to, that was just a whole big band of light. That was all too much. What's going to happen here? So you can see the spear reflected onto his helmet right there. That might still need to get lighter. And I want to maybe try some of this green here again. Yeah. That's just what I needed. It's not blue, it's a little bit of green. Dino, because the vast majority of everything that I do is for commission stuff, because that is what we, well, there's maybe a little less of it now with the Patreon page and such, but pretty much almost everything that you saw me painting on stream over the last week, that was all commission stuff. And that's why, unfortunately, I went to reach for it to show you some things, and I went, oh, that's in a box now. That's in the mail. That's gone. So see how that, nice, look at that nice little light thing right there. Adds so much reflectivity to all this. The age-old joke, well, at least around me, is, so Jim, you've won the lottery, and you have enough money to live on. You don't have to worry about paying the bills or anything like that. What happens with your miniature painting? And I said, well, that's easy. I paint just as much as I do now, except I keep everything. It's all mine. Ooh, like that green there. Everything is mine. Well, that, and I would also build a brand new house with just special painting areas, special filming areas. Obviously, a gaming, well, several gaming tables that have their own lighting system so that I can make it sunrise, sunset, moonlight, whatever. Oh, we got plans. I got all kinds of plans if someone just was, okay, here, have lots of money. Do what you want with it. Very much in the ain't never gonna happen category, but it's one of those things you dream about. Now I'll get some of that green out into here too, maybe. It's one of the reasons why we didn't do any, well, painting contests were never really my thing either, but we couldn't spend a year on one project or something like that. We have to keep going and keep doing the stuff. Now it looks, I think, now the only person that I know of who is live right now happens to be Aaron. That's what, at least right now, that's what's showing up on my screen. Because it is 4 a.m.s here. And we're going to take a little look-see at Melvin, Witch King, and Oscar. That is, I was not sure about adding him, but now I'm really, 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 really glad that I did. I am really glad that I did. So we're just going to set Witch Kingy here. I'll let him dry, and I can see my little bit of object source lighting there. I see that reveal itself, so all that dark that we put there really did help make that show up. So I do want to say thanks to everybody